Hello everybody and welcome back to Screen Stars. I'm here today to bring you my review for the 2018 fantasy horror film The Headhunter, a film that is directed by Jordan Downey and stars Christopher Rye. And even though it's a 2018 film, it's just getting its release now. Now this is a film, when you read it, the write-up about it, it sounds fantastic. And essentially, and I shall read you what it says: a medieval warrior's gruesome collection of heads is missing only one, the monster that killed his daughter years ago. Wow, okay, so we are introduced to this medieval Viking type warrior guy who we see at the beginning of the film. His daughter is taken out by some creature that you don't see, and he's some kind of, well, as the title suggests, he's a headhunter. He's a monster hunter. He goes out and takes the heads of these monsters and brings them back to his hut and uses them as trophies. And he lives out on his own, but he is summoned by the local castle whenever there is a new monster for him to take out. And it reminded me a little bit of and if you've played this game or this game series, you'll know what I mean, the Witcher games. Where Geralt the Witcher, his job is a monster hunter, and he tracks and kills monsters for money, basically for a fee. So there are elements of this that reminded me a little bit of The Witcher, which got me even more excited. However, this film is filmed in a very odd way, because it should be a fantastic film. The aesthetics is really good for this film. It looks the part, it feels the part. They've spent time to get everything looking the way it should. His costume's good. There's very little speech throughout this film, because it's basically just him. All you hear is him, and so he's not going to talk to himself. The only time you really hear him speaking is when he's talking to his daughter's grave, sort of thing. So it doesn't pander to an audience in that sense, but it just does not deliver on the thrills and the promise of these creatures and these fights and these battles. What unfortunately you get is him being summoned, going off to take out these creatures, and the only image we really get to see of these creatures is some kind of drawing or poster, a bit like a wanted poster that the local castle pin up on a local tree that he takes. That's he's like, okay, right, I know what I'm going to kill now, I've seen the picture of it. And then when he comes back, you kind of see the heads of the creatures he's killed that he puts on as trophies in his hut, and that's it, really. What a bizarre aesthetic choice. And what frustrated me even more watching this film was the fact that they had some kind of budget here, because they clearly had these aesthetics and this armour that they created for him. It looks really cool, and they'd created these creature heads to look like trophies in his hut, so they had some kind of budget. But when we do get to some promise of a battle, of the creature that he is hunting, the one creature that killed his daughter is the one he truly wants, and when we get that promise of a battle between him and this creature, what we actually get is a laughable mess of a battle between bones. He's fighting these weird bones that just didn't work at all. So everything it promised to deliver this film, it failed on massively, in my opinion. And I just found myself getting crosser watching this film, and angrier, and then bored. I didn't want to see him sawing wood. I didn't want to see him getting frustrated because his windows were making lots of noise. I didn't want to see him talking to his daughter's grave over and over. It just was a weird choice of a way to tell a story, and you could have forgiven it if it did it for most of the film, if this final battle between him and this creature really delivered. I think I could have forgiven quite a lot, but it was so poorly done and so naff to watch. And it was clearly such a skilled fighter and killer. He'd killed all these mythical creatures and monsters and beings that was littered all over his hut. And in actual fact, it was pretty bloody rubbish. You know, when you actually see him fighting and stuff, you know, he must have been the luckiest fighter on the face of the earth to have taken out all these creatures, or they were just completely rubbish at fighting him. I don't know. It's just incredibly frustrating film to watch this, unfortunately, and it really was a shame because he looked the part, it felt the part, they'd really worked hard on getting the aesthetics right. His performance was fine as this main character. It just failed to deliver on the thrills and the spills and the promise of this fantasy battle and epic between these creatures that you just don't get at all. So I've got to say I was massively disappointed with this film, and I have to give it a 4 out of 10 because of that. It just didn't deliver. If the final quarter of the film had delivered half on what it promised previously, it would have bumped it up by a couple of scores, this film, up to at least 6 out of 10, but it didn't. It was laughable, the battle between the creature at the end. So yeah, this is one to avoid, unfortunately, guys. So I hope you enjoyed the review. Thanks. I'll see you next time on Screen Stars.